Ooh. Hmm. I'm a grown man. Good morning, good Monday morning, and welcome to the Order of Monday Morning. It'll last till next Monday morning too, so it's an everyday thing. Today, which I'm sure all of you know, today, June 3rd, is it June 3rd? Yeah. Today, June 3rd, is National Egg Day. And we ate hard-boiled eggs yesterday. But today is National Egg Day. Now, eggs are nutritious and things like that, and eggs are, a common food. But eggs are something profoundly important. And as a matter of fact, some of the greatest alchemical concepts about life, creation in general, existence in general, often uses imagery and metaphors using the egg as a concept. The sexual alchemy of the Thoth Tarot, I guess we'll say it. Sexual alchemy, the idea that creation itself, creation as we assume it manifests on the material plane, doesn't just happen on the material plane. Oh, sure, animals and people have babies. It happens on the material plane. But it happens through a process. It happens from eggs. It happens from seeds, okay? In the final stages, or at least let's just use the procreation of mammals as an example. We're walking around as consciousness units, but consciousness isn't material. But perhaps the machinery that processes consciousness is material. Our brain cells, our nervous system, things like that. But it comes from an immaterial place, and that immaterial concept that'll eventually form as you or me started somewhere else, and it went through a process of being brought into manifestation. The idea of sexual alchemy is that the technique, the place from which it comes, is sort of the source energy, the source force in the universe that is sort of unseen. And human beings, anyway, can it most naturally reach that dissolution of the grosser consciousness and touch for a moment that wall-to-wall smoothness that is the source of everything that will manifest. We touch that area in moments of ecstasy. We go through the day doing all sorts of other things, but we most commonly dissolve into ecstasy um, in an orgasmic moment. Okay, now you don't always reach that level with every ecstatic dissolution of your consciousness, but it can be worked with uh, in meditation, and it can be worked with, uh, and and people and mystics have been working with this energy is uh, into prehistoric times. Okay, it's a very natural thing, but uh, it's very seldom seen as being as profoundly potential uh, as it is. The Thoth Tarot uh, tells this sexual alchemy story in a series of cards. And as a matter of fact, it's sort of the major theme of the book of Crowley's Book of Thoth, and the major theme that I try to comment on the Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot. But just for today, on National Egg Day, let's look at the first card in the Thoth Tarot. This is the Magus card, the Magician card. Okay, and he's also Mercury, both the planet Mercury and the alchemical element Mercury. See how his body forms the alchemical symbol of Mercury. And he's got his magician's wand there, and he's got the magician's cup there, and he's got a sword floating around someplace, and a stylus. He's got the magician's weapons there. There's the disc there. But flying in from pre-existence is a winged egg. Okay, and that winged egg, let's see what DuQuette has to say about the winged egg. The winged egg is an especially important factor in the evolving symbolism of the Thoth Tarot. In this card, it aptly represents the pre-existent zero, which, like the Magus himself, is the source of all positive manifestation. But it will soon reappear in Atu 6, the Lovers, and other trumps as a symbol known as the Orphic egg. Okay, the Orphic egg. This egg will undergo a most wonderful alchemical adventure, one that is told only in the Thoth Tarot. Now, that's alchemical Mercury. There are three alchemical elements: salt, sulfur, and mercury. The salt is the active fiery principle, and salt is a solid lump where things can actually manifest. It solidly fixes, like the element earth fixes the energy, the element, the force. And mercury is the conduit, the transmitter of everything. And when salt and sulfur and mercury are combined, this is an alchemical axiom, Uh, when they're properly combined, these three things, uh, they create an acid called vitriol. And it's a universal solvent. It dissolves everything. It's hard to find a bottle for it, okay, because it dissolves the bottle. Now, it makes this universal solvent. And what is happening in a proper explosion of true self-dissolving ecstasy is like that solvent. Okay, I'm I'm not I'm not me anymore. I'm not separated from anything. I'm dissolving into X. Okay. He is Mercury. The Empress is salt. See how she's making the sign of salt with her arms there. It's that circle with kind of a line in it. And she's got herself uh, a white eagle kind of there in her shield. And that's another alchemical thing. The female is the eagle and female things, and she's white there. And the sulfur part of salt, sulfur, and mercury is the emperor, and he's making the sign of sulfur. Okay, so salt, sulfur, mercury, and they're in those three cards. I'm going to put that away for a second. Okay, now let's get back to the Orphic egg part. The next, I gotta find it here. The next time we see the egg, see the egg just flew in to the Mercury thing, to the magician. But now the egg is one of the main characters in the Lovers card. And now the egg, it's still winged, but now it's got a serpent around it, sort of like a coiled electrical force of some kind that's getting ready to activate it. In Odd 2-6, the Lovers is the fourth alchemical trump. A familiar alchemical maximum reads, Solve et coagula. Dissolve, coagulate. Dissolve, coagulate. Okay. Solution and coagulation. The process of solve is represented by the Lovers card. So this is the solve part of a multi-stepped alchemical operation that will eventually give birth to the object of your operation. It'll eventually bring into manifestation the image that you hold in your mind during the moment of divine dissolution. Okay, this makes some astrological sense because in the zodiac, Gemini, the Lovers, is opposite to Sagittarius, art, which we're going to talk a lot about in just a second. Between these two trumps are other trumps that represent the development phases between Solve et Coagula. Solve et Coagula is the story of a marriage and pregnancy. The main character in this alchemical love story is not the bride nor the groom, but the child of their union. In the Thoth Tarot, the child is symbolized by the Orphic egg. That, as Crowley reminds us, represents the essence of all life that comes under the formula of male and female. And that's sort of why I said, okay, let's project this great truth upon the adventure of mammal procreation. Okay. Like the events surrounding the birth of any child, our alchemical scenario develops in stages. To 6, the lovers, is the wedding ceremony. And that's totally obvious there. In Atu 14, that's the art card, exactly 180 degrees away in Sagittarius here. In Atu 14, the art is the honeymoon. In Atu 9, the hermit, he fertilizes the egg. There's the Orphic egg right there. He's getting himself fertilized in the warm, moist, subterranean, fertile earth. And there's Thoth looking at that egg. Boy, if I was that egg, I would be nervous. Oh, boy. Okay. Atu 6, the hermit, and in Atu 13, death. Death is known, putrefaction, just like in a compost pile. The decaying earthly material gives off heat, and it's a gentle heat, and that heat incubates that egg. Okay. The death card keeps it nice and warm in the last stages until hatching. Finally, in honor of our Happy National Egg Day, there's the art card. Okay. Where's the egg in the art card? She's standing in front of a giant egg. That's the egg there. And what she's doing there on the outside of the egg is the process that's going on here in this final phase here of the operation. So what she's doing outside of the egg is really what's happening inside the egg. And look what happened to her white eagle. It's turned red. And look what happens to the red lion there in the lover's card. Look what's happened to him. He's turned white. He's turned her color, and she's turned his. I hope that all of us can at least imagine a moment of mutual ecstasy where the giver is receiving and the receiver is giving. I guess that's the best way I can say it. And it becomes a complete switch. The positive is negatively neutralized, and the negative is positively neutralized into one thing. That's a magic moment. Okay. Now, if you look inside her cauldron there, you'll see a skull with a raven on it. That's the death's head. That's where that gentle heat of the death card is incubating that egg. And she's pouring water on a fire symbol and fire on a water symbol. Can you see where this is going? Okay. The words on that egg are the Latin words for that spell visit the interior portions of the earth, and by rectification thou shalt find the hidden stone. But the initials are vitriol. She's creating the acid of disillusion in this final phase here. Let's see what DuQuette has to say. Crowley's little poem. Pour thine all freely from the vase in thy right hand, and lose no drop. Hath not thy left hand a vase? Transmute all wholly into the image of thy will. That's the object of the operation, bringing each to its token of perfection. Dissolve the pearl in the wine cup. Drink and make manifest the virtue of that pearl. Okay, let me see if I know where I can start here without having to read the whole thing. We've already learned in Chapter 8 that the Magus, the Empress, and the Emperor represent the alchemical elements of mercury, salt, and sulfur. We also learned that these three principles, when combined and perfectly balanced, create the universal solvent, vitriol. What we haven't learned yet is what to do with our vitriol. Just what are we supposed to dissolve with it? I guess the simplest answer would be to say that the vitriol dissolves old life in order to create new life. Let's look at the art card and see where that new life is going to come from. First of all, notice that the figures in the forefront of the card are positioned before a large golden egg. This is, of course, the Orphic egg, and everything we see happening in front of the egg is actually the secret work that is being done inside. The shimmering around the egg, as if to advertise the radiant life within, is a golden aura displaying in beautiful penmanship the alchemical motto, Visita interiora terrae rectificundo invenes occultum lapidem. Visit the interior parts of the earth. By rectification thou shalt find the hidden stone. Cooking up the potion that is making that visit possible is a strange and wonderful being whom we first met as two characters, the bride and groom in Atu 6, the lovers. The Black King and White Queen have now merged and become a single character with two heads. The white bride now has black hair and wears a golden crown. The black groom now has golden hair and wears a silver crown. Her arms are exposed to reveal that the body is also countercharged. Her dress is decorated with bees and serpents, and he stands behind a cauldron into which she pours water from a silver chalice. And in her hand, fire from their right hand. Flanking the cauldron, as they flank the Orphic egg and the lovers, stand the lion and the eagle. They've also made a dramatic change. The lion has turned white, and the eagle is now red, having transmuted to their opposite characteristics by the dual baptism of fire and water, the union of the white and red tinctures, which we first saw in the Emperor and the Empress. At the very bottom of the card, the fire and water exist together in harmony, and Crowley writes, but this is only crude symbol of the spiritual idea, which is the satisfaction of the desire of the incomplete element of one kind to satisfy its formula by assimilation of its equal and opposite. Okay, that's only scratching the scratch of the surface of the alchemical operation that Crowley wanted implied in visual form, that he figured we'd all be smart enough to figure out on our own, of the sexual alchemy of the Thoth Tarot and the mystery of the egg. So in other words, if you want something to manifest in your life, form an image of it, a solid image of it, and implant that image in an egg. And take care of that egg and incubate that egg until, with your dissolved and with the vitriol you form by your ecstatic union with your opposite, help hatch that egg. Until tomorrow, we'll probably be in some parking lot. It's going to be a complete heat wave here. Talk about incubation. I hope it doesn't incubate, fry my brains tomorrow. But anyway, it'll be a hot day tomorrow. It's going to, they predict it's going to get up. They predict 105, which in our backyard is usually 10 degrees hotter than that. But anyway, stay cool, everyone. And we'll see you tomorrow. Until then, be good to yourself and be good to each other, because the other is yourself. So we could just say, be good to yourself. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, and love under well.